we got to go to his ordination in the city.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that was cool. It
Yeah.
was unbelievable.
Yes.
And he told us afterwards, he goes, rarely do like have ever get to come to one of these events. I go, really? He goes,
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's typically just family, but the majority are. But it was just interesting how they create the chalice and what they do behind all that. Dan's a good guy. He has been head of recruiting for 8 years at KU. And now he's, I believe in June, he will be taking over a football career somewhere. And I'm really hoping he gets.
And that's when they move priests around, is it then?
May, June, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Right.
He said he could put in for 3 different choices, but wherever they decide to put him. I guess I hope for him because his dad still lives in Topeka. He's moving into a retirement home.
Oh,
Just be close
Sure.
to his dad, that kind of stuff.
sure.
I can't always have a good conversation. Back and forth, and I was getting grab. He just laughed. It's, oh,
Mm.
Yeah, Dan was, he graduated from KU with a degree in graphic design. And he was working for a big firm in Kansas City that one floor did NFL stadiums, one floor did NBA stadiums. He was doing Major League Baseball. And he was a baseball player. And walked away from all of it, went to underwriting.
It's interesting how many of them up and do that. Yeah.
He just, he had a couple of years in the summer, making career, that kind of stuff. I just think it's really cool that it says that they put people through to make sure that, that's the direction.
Yeah.
Why can't get
It's,
it
maybe it's not turned on.
done? For some reason, when they did something, I haven't had a printer for a year.
I got it.
Oh, really?
Morning. No, it will not print. For some reason, when they, I don't know what they did, was when we switched over to up there. Yeah, I know
Oh,
you guys.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, are you on the admin website? So am I. But I cannot connect to the printer at all.
So it's just a setting in your printer?
I don't know. Erin's looked at it, and I don't think she got it. She said something about it had to go through Giant, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
Morning. Morning.
Don? How are you?
Sandy. How's everybody doing? Great.
Give me a glass.
Yep.
Good.
Thanks. Trying to make it seem like I'm more intellectual. It's not working with the actual, the actual whole thing wasn't working before, so it's my last chance. I understand there's a new contender in the, or going to be in the Shawnee County.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think I want to be a part of the power corridor. Jackson County, Shawnee County, Soldier Township.
No, there's no,
We rule the roost.
there's no pull here, that's for sure.
Is he right?
He is, he filed.
Kevin?
No, he's not running,
Oh, Kevin's getting out.
yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't file. He's all,
His plate is gonna be full.
I know, he's all about politics, I'll have to tell you. You know, when he turned into the chairman of the planning board down there, and then he was on Soldier Township.
Yeah, you taste
the governor someday.
Yeah, you taste the power of the Soldier Township. It's
Yeah, they,
it's all over. Can't go back.
Good one.
You can only go forward.
when I listen to him though, I think he disagrees with most people, I don't know.
We got 13 signs, so we're waiting for them.
Your husband cracks me up. I said, what you do with me, you just tell me what's up. He says, "They're all down, so I don't know, room upstairs, I got down. I went across the room. They were So how'd you approach that? Because I tiptoed over and got it, and rolled it out.
What you gonna do?
Cassidy moved.
Homeward,
Anywhere.
320 Bundy Avenue.
Homework?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's got no patience whatsoever, so it was like, we better move down and get it
Like, sir?
closed. And we started painting boxes there.
Oh, so they did buy one.
Yeah, we've got the kitchen. Her room and bedroom. Painted. Her bedroom, hopefully we can find the right color that was matching. That's what needs to be fixed.
And whose house was that, 322? It's down. Just
320 feet, you said? That'd be better, but
That's what I've got to say
It's on the back side of the end.
backside,
Right
right
beside the
beside you. Oh, oh, he's my mama, okay.
I just went from the first thing.
I got you, okay.
He said the next project was his mom's house.
Yeah, he's not painting that thing. He's getting too dang old to get everything.
She said it was 2-story. I said, well, I can hook you up with an airless.
I think she's gonna hire somebody.
Yeah, he said they got a bid from a guy, but it was like 16 grand.
8,000 a session.
But, I mean, it depends, you know, what's the scope of work? I mean, scraping, there's a lot of old paint. I mean, you got to set up scaffolding.
Pat and the boys did it probably 7 to 10 years ago. And it's quite a project. It takes quite a while.
Good work isn't cheap.
Yeah.
Quality.
Except to make it,
Uh,
except for me.
that's just understood.
Yeah.
I know you got a copy of that, but there's that too.
Yeah.
Line in.
So I hear my iPad is too old.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep, that's all right. We got her taken care of. Not there this morning. It's old.
Yeah, they're probably 10 years old.
2014, I think 2014 is ISO 14, and it wouldn't load yet.
I've had one since it came out, so,
See, they're getting smarter. They
Yeah.
make it so you have to get them.
yeah. This is my fourth. Third. I don't know.
have a session, maybe bring that up for me sometime. And then see how you're coming on that for us. No, that's fine. Just so I got the numbers, that's great.
Okay, so
So he's working with the credit
Is that,
union.
he's retired.
Just experience is a piece.
I maybe can't afford the other. He maybe can't afford the other.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, I'd like that.
You're going down like district, we talked about
If
26.
it's anything that's on
It's
there,
in maybe negotiable.
which I'd be what, criminal prosecution.
Yeah, and he does say that,
Because we have, I mean, this is everything that we have to do, so that's what we're really doing. Compare what our budget is.
What I thought.
it's better than it was. I went to the eye doctor just to be sure, but
Yeah.
All right, it's 9 o'clock, call meeting to order with pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. A couple items to take care of before Kate gets down here. Amy Hallauer, who is the Jackson County, she's going to resign from Jackson County Health Department, and so she will also be stepping down from her role as Jackson County Public Health Department. She is, and I think everybody got this, she has made a recommendation on the appointment of Ally Meyer. I think we probably need to check with Ally and make sure that this is, she was going to want this. So, Christie, if you could get a hold of Ally sometime and make sure that this is something she wants, we have 2 weeks to get this done. So, we need a motion to approve her resignation. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the resignation of Amy Hallauer with regrets. Thank her for her work.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the resignation of Amy Hallauer with regrets and thank her for her service to Jackson County for the last, what did she say, 20 years? So yeah, it's been a long time. So we do appreciate her work for the county.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We have, last week it was reported that Clara Lovern has volunteered to be the, serve on the board for the Northeast Kansas AAA for Jackson County. We have her resume here, and I need a motion to appoint Clara Ann Lovern to the Northeast Kansas AAA.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's probably moved and seconded to approve the appointment of Clara Ann Lovern to Northeast Kansas AAA. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The payroll notice change here for Kathleen Wesley for the Register of Deeds office for seasonal temp work for 12 weeks, no benefits. This is in the budget? Okay.
What she would be doing?
Seasonal temp work for 12 weeks.
Sorry, but- No.
Did she have any
We do have some tax abatements here, we'll get taken care of.
Just prepare for maybe some. Good morning.
Morning, Jake.
We go fast. Looks like somebody's here already.
I just heard Brad, you're not here till quarter after, so you go ahead.
This is just the things that I got for the printer. Now, if you want to look at, care to look at all of it.
No, you know what you need, so.
You've gone through them, they're all apples to apples, thanks.
Yep.
Thanks.
So that's what's showing right there. We're currently using Century Business. We've been using them for over a decade. The customer service is phenomenal.
Yep.
So this old machine that is obsolete now, like it's discontinued, and we asked them if they could come in and do kind of a tune-up on it, because we know that that printer is going somewhere else. They came in and repaired a little piece and made it all good.
Okay.
So it is ready to go and it's good. So
Does it have any value, or are we gonna trade it, sell it?
That's one that's gonna go down to the zoning office.
Oh, okay.
that's why we purchase outright, because one, it makes financial sense just to do that, and then we keep it. This printer should probably last a couple of years. The last one that we had, we kept it for another, as a backup.
Is this a large scale printer, or is it just a normal?
This is just a normal copier, printer, fax machine.
Okay, thanks.
So my recommendation would be to keep Century and
It's
to
low
get
bid.
that.
Low bid.
Well, I'd move that we go with Century, low bid, 8,000, well, yeah, 8,108.55 is the purchase price.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the purchase of a copier for the appraiser's office from Century for the amount of $8,108.55. Any further discussion? I just had one question. The annual service contract, is that through the life of the lease? Or life, is that through the life of the purchase, or how do we do that?
The
The
service
annual
contract.
service contract?
That's just the annual service contract, so that is for them to come and do any repairs, maintenance.
Is the price going to be the same throughout the life, or is that
Yes.
a raise or not?
So if we have any overages, then we'll pay for the overages like we do.
Okay,
But it's good for,
Yes,
it's the same price for year
Yes.
one as it is 5.
yes.
okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Are you? A red line. Second is just close. Talk about that. 10 o'clock.
Okay, so I'll come back down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Morning, Ellie.
Good morning.
Alright, guys, Porter, what you got?
A few weeks ago, you guys were asking about the KDOT specs on the rock. Got information back from Soldier, on their rock. It does meet specs if you guys want to.
It doesn't meet specs?
Yes, it does,
Okay.
for compaction and base rock. Mid states, Lindsay, when I called her, she was on her way to a funeral in Arizona, so I can't get back to her, so I touch base with her again.
What about Atchison?
Nothing there either.
But you have reached out to them.
On that part, no.
Okay.
I'd reach out to them too, since we are getting some rock from them, so just so we can cover our bases and make sure that, when questions are asked, we can say, yep, here it is right here, so.
And that addresses hardness of the ground.
KDOT spec is on the web.
If we can get that to Christie, and then I'd like a copy of that, and then.
So I did inquire about mid-states, and I was told that the state tested twice a year,
Yeah.
the durability of it or whatever.
Yeah, if you can just get something from Atchison.
You asked about that.
The GPS stuff, I got quotes back from Gavin from John Deere. Cat is, you'd be looking at $387 per unit, plus $72 per year per unit.
387 per unit.
Yep.
And that's for putting something new on, but it's already on the grader, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the annual, there's
$72.
per machine.
John Deere was $475 per unit, no charge.
No charge for annual? Okay.
And do we know that these units that we're putting on, and you said John Deere was 4 or something?
$475.
Do they have to be updated annually?
He said once in a while, we can upgrade that thing.
And that's something we have the ability to do?
He
Or
said
they would
they would do that, he said it'd be about half the cost. If they had to replace a module, they'd work with us, it'd be about half the cost of what the actual here, so it's not really our fault. You go to 5G and 6G, so whatever, it's next.
Well, with the cap, 387 a year plus 72, that's 459 a year versus 475. So, just so you that put that out there.
But it's one time deal.
No, I understand that, yeah.
472 would be in one time.
475 would be a one-time thing. Yeah.
Well, I think.
$475.
But then for the $72 a year, I would guess that it would be their responsibility to come out and work on it, and do whatever they need to do. So,
What if it's, I guess that's warranty, you have to say that.
I would want to check that and make sure, but I'm going to presume that that's the case.
Well, it's a software service, isn't it? I mean, they're charging you for the equipment thing.
Yeah.
That's, once you get that, that's probably got its own warranty, and then all they're doing is software service, sending information back and forth.
But how often, according to John Deere, they're not having to do that very often. Right?
Software update?
Yeah.
No, but it's not.
Yeah, it would be if 5G went to 6G or something like that, we'd have to upgrade it.
And there is a cost for that.
Yeah, he said if we work with us, it'd be about half the cost of the customer. Instead of $475, it's about half the cost of that.
Probably passing on the cost of being with the supplemental information.
This would be on, at this point in time, we would do graders only.
You almost call it.
No, I mean, can it be put on the dump trucks also.
Yes.
It should already be on the graders from my understanding. I mean, everything should be there.
I'm asking about the dump trucks.
Yeah, the dump trucks is what this
Right.
475 or 387 per
Okay.
vehicle
We don't
would be.
have, we don't have to put it on any, the cat graders we would have to. Well, like the John Deere, if we went with John Deere,
If you go to John Deere, I believe there is a model that would have to go on the camper.
okay.
I believe so.
And
So I
so,
do know, I'm talking to these guys, I knew that JD, Lane, and Cat communicated between each other also.
that would be a question I'd want to know.
Yeah.
If we don't have to, that's great, we just put them on the dump trucks.
Yeah, 10 units, you could say.
So it'd be, is there, how many 10-wheelers and dump,
You've got, what we have it on right now, it's on with 5 10-wheelers and 4 semis.
9 total?
And what have we found out about Samsara?
I don't know.
That's,
That's a question.
I looked at the contract, right now, what they have is the only thing that I saw on the agreements that I had in my file was this one, there was no hardware charge to it, it was just the software. It was a 36-month term at 15,000 something a year. The terms themselves don't, it doesn't say you can cancel. Standard provisions we attach to say you can 60 days before the anniversary date. So we're beyond that for, I guess if you take it from 3/24, I don't know when they shipped.
Well, it took, we didn't actually get them all hooked up until, oh man,
It was in October. Yes.
It was waiting on cables and.
Well, that's the question of when the anniversary date is. This says it was approved 3/24, so it's going on that as being the date, so it actually is a different date.
Can you go back and look through your emails and see when? Because I know that there was a whole, they were supposed to come, then they didn't come, and then they shipped some stuff, then they didn't ship some stuff. It was a whole convoluted mess.
Cables.
Yes.
This says the license term for the software licenses, which apparently all you have, begins on the day Samsara activates the applicable Samsara software license by providing you a claim number and access to the hosted software.
And that would have been sometime in October, if I remember correctly.
Well, I'm assuming there's got to be some email where they say, here's your, we show you having access to your claim. Okay. Well, that would be if we're still 60 days out from that, we should terminate it that way. The other way is not appropriation, which I think I said last time is not a great option.
Yeah.
Got to seriously not be able to pay them. I think able to pay them.
I had thought there was a provision in there though that, I could have sworn that there was a provision in there that said that if they could not get the two systems talking correctly,
Well, yeah, and
so you might have to check your file and make sure what you have on that too.
because all I got is, at least as far as what I saw was this, which just seems to be pretty standard stuff. There wasn't any mention at all of star program, integration, what they're gonna do back and forth, and what I had. So if there was something that they had back and forth about that, you know, I didn't see it, what I had.
There'd be, any notes back in our minutes. Something like that.
I'm going back through some old emails here real quick, see if I see anything.
The original contract that had all that stuff in it, you don't still have that, or?
I'd have to look for it,
Yeah.
but then normally we turn all that stuff over to the side.
The only thing that I see here in my emails with Matt Lima is when I asked the question about whether we were getting charged for the gateway between Samsara and Stars, and if it needs to be pulled out until the system's operational, and he answered back, there is no extra fee or charge for that. But we still don't have it, so, even though we were guaranteed it would be there. So,
I have a quote here, I'm looking through it. It's 10 modules, yeah.
I think that's the same one we're looking
and I see some of it, the date on one of the emails saying things will be operational was in August, I believe, so.
You want?
You can also just ask them. Just might, I hesitate to do that, just take that as a, but you can.
Okay, contact, we got the rest of the tubes here last week, so that order's all completed. And then, just quick. Had Nate Anderson, with, Scotland Industries stop by last week, he's our new sales guy for that. And I told him, we'd be getting the bid put together and sent out here in the next couple of weeks. And was talking about the half rate that, Greg always talked about, switching to the half rate. And he says, we don't recommend doing that. I don't know if that's a salesman talking, wanting to sell the product, or we can actually, do that, so.
I thought that's what they've always sat here and said, is that
Well,
you could go the half rate after X amount of years.
Right, so Greg told us that. So, like I said, this guy's new enough, he didn't even have business cards yet, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so, thought I'd reach out to his higher up and talk to them a little bit about it. See where we're at.
Well, I mean, 6 1/2 does the other, I believe, there was consensus as a group, we're still gonna go ahead and do the half rate and try it and see what it looks like.
Okay.
Is that not the way we kinda left that?
Well, I want to wait for additional information. I mean, if putting half rate on, if they say that it's not, you're not going to do anything, it's not going to be effective, I'm not sure it's a good idea to put a half rate on, because you're just wasting money. I'd like to hear from their,
I would agree with you, but like I said, for the 3 years that I've sat here, they've sat here and said that.
No, I
Half
understand.
rate's the
I
way to
understand
go
that.
after X
No.
amount of years, so.
I do, but was it wrong information from them?
True.
So I'd like, before I make a decision, I'd like to know the truth, if we can get to that. Is half rate effective on roads that have already had applications in the past? If so, great, show us some data on that, people that you've done that with already. If it isn't recommended by their company, then I think put the half rate on is a waste of time.
Well, I would agree with you. I'm not, like I say, I'm just going off past information, what we had
No, I know.
signed, or what we had talked about earlier, so. Yeah, talk to your higher ups and and see if the salesman just doesn't have his facts right. Go from there.
Also got a note or email the other day from, Pot County over here. They've got a bridge over on 142. It's in Pot County that would affect us because, 142 runs right over there to 63. It's like $2.1 million operation that we're talking about trying to replace this bridge with funding for it. It won't be until 2027. And he's asked me to write a letter, which I've started on, just how that would impact us and how important it is to get that bridge replaced. I guess it's in bad shape now, so it's on a condition on this one. So anyway, just an update there. Also, back in '23, the state talked to us about using our roads for a detour for 63 to replace 2 bridges over there over by Inn, over the creek and over the railroad. I hear there is possible talk of that again. So, again, I don't know how that would affect this 142 bridge. It's not really my problem, but it is my problem if they still want to
Start chipping them, yeah.
detour over on us like they were before.
So is part of that conversation, both with the state and Pot County, if you're going to detour traffic onto us, I don't know if Pot County would have to, but if the state is, are they going to help with,
Originally, they said yes.
A, first checking all bridges on the detour that can handle all semi-traffic, and then B, what they'll do for gravel and upkeep?
Right. And before it was a yes, that they said they would.
Okay,
Again, that was, 3 years ago.
been a while.
How things changed.
Yeah.
Anyway, just letting y'all
Thank you.
know. Tribe roads and bridges, haven't heard any response back from that letter that I sent.
As far as the cost share for the inspection and everything.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So have nothing there. And then are we going to continue maintaining the roads now?
At this point, you mean the roads that
That are tribe roads or BIA roads, or we're going to continue?
At this point, I would say yes, we have to continue because those are our roads.
I'd like to see if there's any way we can have some sort of conversation back and forth about responsibility. Because based on the information that you have, the BIA says they're their roads to maintain.
Correct.
Okay, so if they're not going to respond road and bridge to road and bridge, let's approach it from attorney to attorney. And thoughts on that?
I know, I'm in 100% agreement on that,
So-
but it's still going to be our responsibility until we get an answer back to go ahead and maintain.
For sure.
Well, I'm going to slice and dice the responsibility a little bit in the sense that I think you guys are responsible likely for public safety
Correct.
in that maintaining for the purposes of danger to the public is a, I don't know, I assume that's a higher,
And at this
higher standard than what you do.
And at this point, it's just the right thing to do, to maintain it until, we don't want to just leave it and let it go to waste. This does no one any good. And so, my thoughts are, start keeping track and
We've got
dollar-wise, so that you have a spreadsheet. And then, I guess if you guys are all right with it, I'd like to have our attorney send Darren, I think is their attorney, maybe?
I'm going to call him.
Perfect.
I think I sent him that letter.
I thought you did.
Call him and say, can there be any communication on the bridges and the road maintenance? If not, we're just, I don't know, send him a bill? I mean, I don't know what else to do when somebody won't communicate. We want to communicate. We want to have a conversation to work this through, but it just seems expensive to involve attorneys. I like you, but
I know.
you're expensive.
And I don't know that there's not every answer is a legal answer.
Right.
As loath I am to admit it.
But I agree with you, Mark, that I think the right thing to do for the public is we have to keep maintaining them. Have you reached out to BG to, you know, the exact dollar amount to get these bridges inspected that we need to
Well,
have?
we've already hired, Elite Engineering
At least, okay,
to come in and do that.
okay,
And his estimate was around 50,000 for bridges.
Okay.
He stopped by the other day and picked up all my files that I had on the 9 bridges that we have files on. There's some that we don't have files on.
do you guys think it's important that we just go ahead and get that done?
Oh, yeah.
And battle the other port
I
parts
thought
later?
I thought that's what we decided last week, to
Okay.
get the bridges inspected.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to do that. I mean, there are different ways around it. But
Because,
then it comes down to the fact that if they say this needs worked on now, and it's gonna cost X amount of dollars,
Right.
that's when the.
that's when we make the
sides go up.
decision whether to put
Yeah.
road closed up.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I'd just like somebody from the tribe who has the authority to speak for them to have a conversation with us about how we're gonna work through this issue.
And that's why I keep bringing it up.
Yeah, I appreciate
It's getting
that.
old.
yeah.
So,
No, we can't let them
yeah, you can call Darren and have a conversation, and if you would email us and Scott, let us know how that conversation went, that would be great.
I mean, the conversation is, DI has these lined out. You know, are you going to take on the responsibility, or are you not? And if not, are you going
Compensate.
to financially compensate the county for doing the work? And if the answer to both those is no, I guess that's discussion. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Matt got with us this morning at our meeting. First off, you guys get your email of all the roads?
I did.
We took off last week. Our rock budget, we're down to $786,602.95. And we've got like 4 days worth of tickets that have not been turned in.
786, what?
786, 602, .9. Like I said, we've got about 4 days worth of tickets that have not been turned in. Okay, down at 82nd in Topeka Boulevard, the gentleman contacted Matt, and he's got like 20 to 25 dump truck loads of oversized rock. He built a pond on a rock ledge, so this is virgin rock, and we would really like to have that. It's free, except for us coming to get it loaded. So, with your all's permission, I'd like to make that happen.
Is it rock that has to be broken up?
Now, he said there's some big chunks and small chunks. The guy just, Matt said there's 3 piles.
It's like
And Matt's,
Yeah.
and Matt's looked at it.
Yes.
Okay. So we use it for ditch lining around bridges.
That or down at the, that 118B, you know, where that spot off there, that'd be a great place to put some of that.
Okay.
So like I said,
I have no problem going, if it's free and you want it out of there, I have no problem going.
Will we haul it to the Hoyt site since that's closest?
it could go there or down here at the bridge yard. We'll find someplace for it. It could go out to the landfill for all I care.
I'm just trying to think of the shortest distance to haul it that's centrally located.
Yeah.
Coming through town with it doesn't seem like the.
Yeah.
I would think out at the landfill or some at the Hoyt
Right.
site.
We got that east side of the creek there.
Yeah.
You know, it's water going off.
Yeah.
The east side there, we piled up there.
No, I think that'd be a great deal, so.
Okay. All right. Bryson, they got that excavator put back together. He's wanting to come in and cut that thumb and stuff off, so we don't run into that problem again. Cat looked at it and they were out here the other day, and they said it is aftermarket stuff, so even if we went back and put a cat thumb on, we'd have to replace all that stuff there anyway. So, doesn't have to be cut off right now, but
Well, if it's in there and we're getting ready to use it and everything, I'd say get it done right now, that we don't have to run into this problem again.
And we've also decided not to put the mulch head on at this point, because basically gonna run it for a few weeks, and here we are, need it for other work.
Is it that difficult to put on?
Takes about half a day or so. That's what it is. Still getting much out of it.
Do you have places that you can run?
You guys. Like, so we usually try to get that fall.
And since it was down,
Also got that, barrel bed, you know, it's got the motor that's bad in it, so, he's gonna be pulling it in and starts working on it, probably next week sometime. Put it off last year because of money. That's where he's at.
and so you do have funds for that set aside, or?
Yes.
Okay.
He was estimating, well, before, I think he was estimating around 15,000, he said the price would be more like possibly 25.
And who's gonna rebuild it?
They said they could all work here.
Okay.
Good. All right, chip and seal. Basically, what I think we figured was gonna take out Q Road 190 to 226. And that would leave Q4 Road 234 to 286, and 214P to R5. So total's 90 miles, so that would kind of match up to our budget, what we budgeted for this year. Talked to Vance Brothers again the other day, they came out about that micro covering, and what we decided to do, we'll just go ahead and get the bid like this, these miles here, and he says that, that's something too, is, he said they can come in and put this stuff over chip and seal, or come up to where they would stop at. So, whoever gets the bid, hopefully Vance will get it, and then they can just do the chip and seal and the micro all at the same time. Get one time. If not, we would probably want to cut back these miles and do 3 miles less on one of these roads, and do half of it chip and seal and then half of the micro with Vance Brothers. Right. So the bid, we just go ahead and send it out the full 9 miles. Instead of trying to complicate things.
So you're thinking you only want to do a half mile?
No, I'd like to do about 3 miles.
You said you do a half mile of the chip and seal, and then the other half.
If we stick to these roads right here, you take about 3 miles out of the 9
Okay.
and do the micro.
Okay.
That's like,
It was the half mile of one and a half mile of the other, but you're saying,
out of these 9 total miles, we take 3 miles out and do the micro there instead of chip and seal. Like I said, it'd be, hopefully Vance will come in at a decent price to where we can use
Do it
them
all
for the whole thing, instead of having to go back to one of these guys and say, okay, we're gonna shorten up your chip and seal 3 miles, and then, do this micro on the other 3. Makes sense? Then the last thing I got is our annual report that needs some signatures.
How'd that go at the conference? Was that last week?
Our meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real good.
Good.
A lot of compliments on building it. The people go around taking pictures of it. That big park there.
oh, banner.
Yeah, we had it out there. It really worked out real nice.
So is there anything in here that stands out that I need to be aware of, or
It's just the standard
standard?
stuff we do every year. How much chemical was sold and how much we got back and
Okay.
what's carried over to other funds.
Noxious weed, recycling and noxious weed are both state mandated, correct? Or is it just noxious weed?
It's not just we,
Recycling we do as a service for the community, and it typically does not make money, it costs. Noxious weed typically,
it still costs you money because we do the cost share.
right,
It won't be as much this year because we're going to the, the
increase.
handling sort of charges there.
But the landfill, again, is mandated, where we keep it open as a service.
Service.
Okay.
You have regulations you have to follow.
Hang on here.
And at the landfill, we break even or make a little.
We make a little. Yeah. If you,
So would the landfill be considered solid waste planning?
yes.
Then solid waste planning is a cost of state required services provided by the county per KEC. So,
Yes.
Just check.
yeah, I mean, that's on the list from KEC that, yeah. I just don't want there to be any
Right.
miscommunication on that, to know we don't have to do it, but we are doing it, so.
But to answer your question, yes, we kind of break even on it. When you figure my salary, the darn salary portion of it out of that, then you start on the whole, as far as salaries were out of that. You make the money.
Could you send that chart, the other two, so they got that?
Did you guys have any roads or?
Yes, I didn't have any roads, but I got a question. I was looking at going through bills on Friday, and there was a bill in there for one of the trucks to a dealer. And it was for simple things that, didn't we ever buy a scanner for the trucks, for the pickups?
What?
A scanner?
A scanner?
Yes.
No, we did not.
Why? We talked about this last year, that we needed to get one for,
Well,
Coil
it was
pack.
gonna cost like $6,000 for it.
oh, the scanner that I use at home for $170 tells me everything that I need to know to get me pointed in the right direction. Scanner pack, plugged air filter, so on and so forth.
Okay.
I'm saying you can go out to O'Reilly's and get one right now for $160, and it will point you in the direction that you need to go before we spend, what was it, $700 and some dollars?
$600 some dollars
Yeah.
cost of board.
We talked about this last year, and I thought we already got the scanner docked. We don't need a $6,000 scanner.
Well, I know we don't need that, because that's what,
It was
I recall
the cost of board, because what they ended up doing was pretty simple.
Yeah, coil pack and air filter and spark
The
plug.
scan costs $700.
What?
What costs $700?
The bill,
The repair.
the total bill.
The
For
repair.
the coil pack, spark plugs, air filter, and labor.
What did it cost? I assume they break it down to scan it and know what's going on or not.
The labor
But
was $400 and some dollars.
Labor-
that would be a great
$400
question for Bryson.
Well, I mean, we gotta have a scanner first before we can do it.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to have a recommendation from our lead mechanic?
Yes, but we had talked about this last year about getting a scanner.
Okay.
For this particular purpose, because it was the same deal.
Why hasn't he gotten one?
That's what I'm asking right now. It needs to be done.
I don't recall the scanner thing, I recall the program that he was wanting there a few years ago. That cost like $6,000.
This was just specifically last year. Yeah. And like I say, if you go onto O'Reilly's, I was just looking at them before you guys came in. mean, from how much do you want to spend? Like I say, the one that I have at home, it was like $169 or $168. They got two different ones there. They both do the same thing. They just got different model numbers. To me, that would be a lot better. Somebody pulls pickup in there and says, "Hey, it's running rough." Plug the scanner in, see what's going on before we make the decision to take it to the repair shop to get it done. I would just soon have it looked at out there first.
So
Okay.
my question would be to Bryson, if they have the ability to rebuild a motor, but they didn't have the ability to scan this, why didn't they just have Foster Ford scan it and then bring it back out and do the work in his shop? I mean, it's kind of like going back to the old headlight deal.
Right.
Doesn't make sense. I agree with Mark that if a simple, basic programmer or tuner, not tuner, but scan tool, will help with some of those things, he needs to get it bought and if he doesn't know how to run it, let his number two run it. So that he does. And again, you can share this with him, that it doesn't make sense to have it scanned and then have basic repairs done at Foster Ford labor rate. I mean, if they're gonna do the work, why do we need him? I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to.
Like I said, I thought we'd already had this, so we need to get it in there.
I don't recall talking about scanner last year.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's.
Yes.
All right. Joe, you got anything?
I have roads.
Oh, you got roads?
I had a call from Kenny Schweitzer at 13625 206 Road. 206 Road. He said they took rock out and stopped at McManus driveway. And he has a hill that goes down to his driveway that nobody's paid any attention to for several years. And then,
Is that the road we worked on last year, and then that road going off that way looks like a driveway going down to his house in Greenville?
I think it does go, I don't know, I think it does go down to his house.
Okay. We looked at that last year, this same place,
And I don't know.
looked at. We looked at it last year, and when we did that rock there in front, we decided not to touch it because it actually was in bad shape. It's better than some of our.
Okay, if you'll check it out, he says it hasn't been maintained since Dan was here, is what he said.
Is that the one that R4 and goes back down the dead end?
It goes down to dead end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes right down, it looks like a driveway. So it looks like.
Go check it out.
Okay.
And then, Rob Karn, okay, we've been there before, 21600 N Road. Okay, and so I had been out there, they took a load of rock out there by his house and took care of the spot out there. And then they stopped, that was late that one day when we discussed this because I think they were at the wrong place.
Yeah, they were.
Right, okay, so he says, just so you know, when I said several spots, only the nearest my house got a load of rock. One spot. And then he said, I counted at least 3 on my way west on 214 from O Road to N Road, not to mention the spots on N Road as it turns into 218 Road. And then he sent pictures, and I know it's rained and stuff, but I don't think the grader's been out there either.
Yeah, and I think there where we put the rock in front of his house, Matt looked at all that and said that those other spots were like rock, but not enough to worry about at that time. We will look at it
Okay,
again.
look at it again,
Can you
please.
send me that text?
Yes,
That way I make sure I got everything wrote down right here.
okay.
You talk faster than I
Gotcha. If I can send it, it's off the mess here.
I don't have any roads.
did mention this morning though that a lot of the calls are slowed down a lot.
Good.
That's almost because it's not raining.
There you go.
The grader operator down east of Mayetta and down towards south of there, have we got that individual? He's got 1 week left, is this his last week? And then we'll replace him,
That's, we've already talked to some folks already about that.
since we're gonna move somebody into that position,
If they'll accept it.
if they'll
I've
accept.
already got one that turned it down, so.
Okay.
He's interested in, because the line, there's not all these, usually when a grader operator moves into a grader, we usually have you like on a year probation anyway. When you do
Sure.
Adjustments, you know, so.
Okay. And did we move up to W?
We're all rock that there, yes, and they're out there today.
Joe.
And again, everybody we talk to, they're all, you know, it's the wrong time of year going here, so we're gonna do this anyway. So what I got them doing is, you know, with those grain bins, well, that guy's got that machine shop, the sheeter shop, and he's got that little spur that goes off, that's still part of that, she doesn't deny. We're working on that.
So you did it?
Instead
I
of
did.
the main part of the road, yes.
Messages.
If
Oh,
we
okay.
get in
It
those
said it's supposed to be
ditches,
there.
and it is an issue with mud, I would have that short little area have a problem instead of the main road. So we're gonna work on that first before we move out onto the big part. Big part of the road, and I know, I told them, I said, this is where we're at. They want to fix it right. They said, we fixed everything else right. They don't want to come in and half-ass everything else. The road needs to be built up. So that means hauling some dirt in, bringing some dirt in, and raising some of those areas. When you do that, and if we start getting rain and snow, you have muddle.
Yep.
A huge muddle.
Yep.
So that's kind of why I want to stay off of the main part of W, and we can deal with that short area, like, I don't know, maybe half a mile, I think. Yeah, that little spur off there. But again,
That little S curve.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're pulling today, it's not too muddy, you're supposed to be pulling the ditches in to the road and build the road up, because it's down lower than the ditches. So that's what we're doing today. We hauled rock in there last week, we're hauling rock still today from Atkinson. So we are doing some things up there. I said, I just hate to get the cobble pants.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
You start building that road up to dirt, like I say, you get a rain or snow, and it's just gonna be it's gonna be a nightmare. You're not gonna be able to travel.
And
Snow this weekend.
that's
Yeah.
right here, yeah. And the dirt that we have on the east side, I know we ditched part of the west side, the dirt on the east side, they were talking about if we can, just pull that up into the road instead of hauling it off. So that would save us some money there too.
And when you roll that dirt up into the road, removing the gravel
Oh,
to the
yeah.
left side,
That's-
just for
Yes,
everyone who isn't experienced in this, what that means.
yes,
And then you're sheep's footing that.
yes.
Uh,
It's the machine's already up there. We're supposed to take up the last.
My only question is, you know, I've not gotten any complaints, so, yeah, any concerns. So, all the quarries that we could possibly haul rock out of, we didn't mention the one over in Pot County. Do we
That-
haul?
That is also owned by Ham.
Oh, it is, okay, so their one report's going to be good for all their
Well,
quarries.
he said this one here was sold. Because I told him, I said I was looking for Omega and St. Mary's and all those. And like I said, he got me one that was sold. So,
I would imagine, I haven't looked yet, but I would imagine that this is probably online somewhere too at the state site.
that is.
Yeah, but I mean, for all of the quarries that the state tests, I would guess that this is probably, a report like this is probably online. I mean, like, I haven't looked yet, but I will, but, so we should be able to pull it up and see. But I would say any quarry that the state pulls rock out of, they're gonna have to test it.
Yeah, because there was did you think it was KDOT specifications? That's where we found the
Okay.
KDOT stuff. And there's aggregate, and then 1100 is the series, and there's like a ton of them there. And I believe we're into the 1100 aggregate.
Okay,
But does it specifically talk about the hardness of the gravel? In other words, the wear,
That,
It's durability.
durability. Thank you.
yeah,
Where'd you get
I've
that?
been corrected.
Durability.
but
So-
they call it something different on there too.
soundness minimum,
Sound.
wear minimum, composition, blah, 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 so yeah.
At the time, really tried to learn what all that meant. The guy that says, yes, it means Hispanics and stuff, what their numbers were.
Thanks.
And to go along with W Road, we also talked to the local people, and so they know what we're doing. We made a little bit of compromises with them, so we can. There's a couple of approaches that we'll have access to still. But they also didn't jump into the ditches because there was some possibilities of power lines and stuff going through there, and we had to do Avon line again. So.
Okay.
But it's good to go now.
Okay.
Well, the 811 on the main part of W, we told them that we'd start date electric 20. So, hopefully, just let them hold off. Anyway, so the 811 is good for 2 weeks after the 20. And then you have to get your for extensions. Okay.
Sounds good, thanks
Thank you,
guys,
gentlemen.
appreciate it. All right, Todd, what you got today?
You have in front of you two documents. The first one on top in color is the red line version of the changes. The second one is the clean version, so I didn't know which one you prefer to look at. Taking a look at the changes. All changes have been accepted as far as what we talked about before, so this is version 3, I guess, we call it. So, I just gave a copy to Kate, so you wanted to print it down here.
Those kids can come down? Okay. Okay. Anybody have any questions over this?
I do.
Okay.
So, give you the page. Page 1, number C. It reads through, agricultural use are still required to obtain a certificate of zoning compliance. Red lettered out the occupancy permit. And it says to verify ag use or floodplain compliance. Are we missing one thing in there, and that would be 40 foot off the property line? Or is that stated somewhere else, that somebody would have to go somewhere else and find that? Should we not have?
That would be in the, actual, like zones, like the A1 will have their setbacks and that's listed in there.
So would it make sense to have all requirements, why we're asking for building compliance in the same place? And say, these are the 3 things for an ag building. You gotta determine it's ag, you gotta determine it's not in the floodplain, and you've gotta determine it's not within 40 foot off the property line. If we're gonna ask for it, wouldn't it make it easier to find that?
I mean, the 40-foot setback.
Yeah, 40 foot
The
setback.
40-foot setback is statutory.
40 or 15, depending on side or front,
That's what it
but
is.
that's within the zone.
Well,
section.
yeah, but you
Is
can,
it-
the agricultural uses can't be revenue.
Okay, so that's my question. Is it not, so if somebody wants to build an ag building, put it right on their fence next to, and then it's determined that it is ag, thank you.
Yep.
So it does not need to be in
They
there.
can put it on, okay, so we just found one that there are 3 buildings that a neighbor built on their neighbor's property.
Well,
So is that a simple thing?
That's
We
a
don't,
simple
we
thing,
don't
and-
mess with it.
Yeah, so there's, I mean, the difference, the loss on that is, yeah, you can't, doesn't mean you can build over your neighbor's line, and it doesn't mean you can go to right of way. So,
But we don't enforce that,
well,
in the sense
yeah.
that we don't go out and say you have to move that building.
we would enforce again, between 2 neighbors, we don't enforce, we don't touch. If you're in the right of way, and it interferes in any way with public transportation or utilities or anything in the right of way, then yeah, you could say,
You can enforce that.
yeah, you gotta get out of the right of way, because, yeah, so,
Okay.
but if it's like 2 inches over, and it's not hurting anything, then
Yeah, I think you answered my question. That was my question in there. If that needed to be there, if it doesn't, great. And then page 2. When we say occupied, not personally occupied, what defined occupied in paragraph or number 2?
yeah, I had some issue with that. Because I think that I was moving that sentence of text out to say that there's a point at which you've got to have, this certificate done.
Right, they need to have the certificate done
And I was
to
saying.
start.
Start, or at the very least, you can't occupy it. Meaning,
Use it.
at the point at which you're using it, then,
Okay,
you can't get there and say, well, we're still thinking about building, or we're building it, and it's just, contractor's not here.
okay.
Yes.
Which is similar to the gentleman who built a building not only in the floodplain, but didn't get a building permit and is now occupying it because he's operating indoor business out of that. Correct, he's occupying it, that's
yeah.
defined as occupying it, using it. That answers my question.
I have one on page 3, number 3, permit revoke. So it states here that provision regulations may be revoked by the zoning administrator if she finds that prior to completion of the structure for which permit is issued, there's a departure from approved plan specifications and conditions under the terms of the permit. So previously in this, it says that you have to provide a scale drawing of here's where it's gonna sit, setbacks, all that good stuff. So, and then being as this is Jackson County, I'm sure that this has happened before. So you're digging a basement, you hit a rock ledge, right? Do they have to then stop everything, come in and say, we want to move this, 3 feet this way because there is no rock ledge over here? I mean, I'm just curious, how does that work on something like that? Does that have to come up through for approval, or is that?
We really haven't had people come and ask for that. Now, when their plans have changed on how big they're gonna make it, they've
Right.
come back in and resubmitted.
But something like that is not gonna be a holdup, I wouldn't think. Yeah, if they say
No.
crack in the rock ledge, you gotta move it 3 feet this way and.
No, unless it conflicts with floodplain or
Right.
setbacks or
Right.
something.
Okay.
But generally, that's never an issue.
Okay,
Um,
I'm just playing as Daniel's say devil's advocate here on that, because, and then, so that's fine, Daniel, on that one. So then another thing that I'm missing in here, we're talking about construction, erection, this, that, the other thing, with all buildings, but I see nothing in here about moving buildings. Which was kind of one of the things that we were, the portable buildings, because like I said, I didn't know I needed a permit for that, so does that need to be in here also?
Well, I don't know, I don't remember there being anything you guys had right on moving. Meaning,
Well, that's what I'm saying, there is nothing in here, but according to the rules and regulations, I should have gotten a building permit to move the chicken house in, correct?
to bring it in.
If it
I would
exceeds.
think.
If it exceeds.
Well,
that's what-
there's nothing in there about square footage at
There you
all.
go,
There's
that's
nothing- there's
that's where this
nothing
whole
in
thing
there.
started.
Yeah, we haven't decided any of that.
So I just wanna make sure that we're not gonna put this in there and now all of a sudden we gotta change it in 2 weeks, because this whole thing started, I thought, with the portable buildings and the Vanderboot deal and all that good stuff. So I wanna make sure that if we're gonna change this, we're changing it right. Like I said, I had no idea that I needed a building permit to move the chicken house in. Now, granted, it's only, 150 square feet, whatever it is, it's small.
So
You know.
you all need to decide if you wanna do like a minimum square footage required
Yes.
for a building permit.
well, and that is, first off, I mean, there's regulations about the actual movement on county roads, right? Taking a building that's a big building or something and moving it.
This is just requiring a building.
This is just saying you're bringing it in, you're building it, but it's on a.
But I'm not building it.
Okay,
I'm moving it in, that's what I'm saying. So this whole thing started, I thought, with the portable building, size requirements and everything else. And I see nothing in here about that. That's what I wanna make sure that we're changing it right now, that we need to get it,
And-
figured out.
and I think this was for the fact that if there's ag use, that it's not regulated, number one. So if it truly is a chicken coop for that purpose, and it otherwise fits, then it's not regulatable by the zone.
So I don't need to get a building permit for ag use, is what you're saying?
Well, there's no building permit. What's the building permit? It's a zoning compliance permit.
Zoning compliance.
And if it's just an agricultural building that's being added, then the import of this is that it's not regulated.
Oh, whoa, okay. If I'm going to build an ag building, not move it in, if I'm gonna build an ag building, I need a building permit, correct?
Because of the floodplain, or we don't care.
Well, I don't know what a building permit is in your context.
Zoning compliance.
Yes.
Okay, let's get that straightened out right here. What are we gonna call it?
So
Building
Zoning
permit or
compliance.
zoning compliance, because 90% of people are gonna call it a building permit.
Zoning compliance.
they're one
Okay.
I mean, it's changing the language and getting everyone used to that language.
Okay.
Well, and I think there's an important distinction there. A building permit has real meaning in city context, meaning they're inspecting it for codes, plumbing codes, wiring codes. If we're doing that, that's a whole separate.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not.
So all we're looking at here is, are you zoning compliant? And the first question is it ag? Then it's outside of all this, we don't worry about it. If it's not, if they are building, if they're putting in a skid building or a shop to do repairs on cars, that's gonna have a zoning compliance.
So,
That's it.
so I think the first thing we need to do is determine square footage. Second thing then would be to determine, after that, I guess, just square footage maybe. But for everybody in this county, it's called a zoning compliance application. And if they call it a building permit, let them call it a building permit. But we know what it is and we know what we're going to do with that. And if they ask, what does that mean? You can explain for ag buildings what that actually means. You can explain what it means for all others. And so I think we need to pick a number of what we think is good.
But before we go on, I want to clarify, because what you just said, if it's ag, you don't need it, and that's.
No, that's not what I said.
No, I didn't say you, I didn't say you, I said Todd.
Yeah, me.
But
I said Todd, but that, so,
I think it's understood. Okay.
it's not
It works
understood that if it's ag, we don't need a building permit, or a zoning
It's written
compliance
right here
permit.
though. He just wrote that.
Yeah, and that's now the important bit. It wasn't clear before.
And so,
So we're gonna say that any ag building, you do not need to come in and get a zoning compliance application or permit, correct?
So who's making that
No.
determination?
That's what Todd just said, that's what I'm trying to get clear across, that is what you just sat here and
then
said.
ask him the question and quit dancing around it. It's simple. It's not up to him, it's up to us.
I agree, but what we just stated publicly, what Todd just stated publicly is you do not need a zoning compliance certificate for ag. That's what he just sat here and said. That's what it doesn't.
But that's not what we're doing. That's not what's written here, Mark. So, I mean, all we're gonna say is that all ag buildings are required to get a certificate of zoning compliance to verify ag use
Yeah,
Yep.
and floodplain compliance.
Yeah.
Period. That should be the end of the subject.
So now let's go to portables. What are we gonna do on those?
the portables, I mean, if you're saying, I wanna know that I'm gonna get a Rubbermaid, 6 foot by 6 foot
And that's,
thick.
yeah, that's just.
That's not gonna.
No.
So let's-
Okay, and that would be in the individual zoning, zone, like you have residential, you have, 1, 2, 3 residential, you have commercial. You would have different, those would have minimum sizes or maximum sizes, right? To my mind, square footage, right? So you would say, in residential 1, you can only have, your, whatever your building is, if it's less than 200 square feet, it's, you don't have to worry about it. But if it's over that, then you have to, put it in here, you have to,
So you're wanting to put those minimum requirements within each zone?
I think, I guess you can tell me, I think the planning theory is that based upon everything, that you'll have commercial properties that will be big, they're supposed to be bigger, right? And that, as opposed to a small residential, and you don't want to have a small residential be able to just dominate with a giant building, right? So you'd say, that one needs to have a little bitty limit, and the industrial can have humongous buildings. And you don't care if it's, I mean, you can't, I'm worried about the fact that you put something here that says, no building X is,
So if we'll use the number 800. If we say 800 square foot is the number. If it's less than that, you don't need a building compliance stuff. If it's 801, you're gonna be required.
I just think the confusion would be if that says that, and then you have a separate zoning thing that says you can't. There's another square footage
Do
limitation.
you see a problem with having that? Because now you say there is no square footage requirement.
Well, currently there isn't anything about a minimum square foot
In any of
in
it?
the regulations.
Okay.
And so if we
There's nothing
put
in
that,
there about you don't need an application or zoning compliance application if it's under 150 square feet. There's nothing in there like that. So I think that's what you're talking about, is getting something in there for a minimum.
Okay, and then this is important with your question is the foundation aspect, right? We're also separately thinking about
what Mark's talking about
that
is
it's not exactly on you don't build a foundation, so it's not permanent foundation. Do we have anything on that? Okay.
No, and like I say, I thought that was where this whole thing got brought up, was the portable building aspect of this.
I thought it belonged in a different section.
Part of it had, the conversation was that, but
Okay.
part of it was getting rid of some of the terminology.
Alright.
Well, is it then I mean, would you guys be comfortable, I guess, at this level saying, it doesn't matter where it's at, where it is, if it's below 150 square feet and it's not on a foundation, we don't care. I mean, we gotta think about this as
You
being,
can't say it's not on a foundation, it's not a permanent structure, because build a pole barn and then make it that way, then, make it smaller.
Permanently fixed. to-
Permanently affixed to the ground.
yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking here to say, that nobody, if you put it in here, this has to be applicable to everything, as opposed to, which, I mean, don't come to me with a little tiny lot of house on it that's, something small on there, and it really crowds people out.
I mean, we can look at other counties to see what their minimums are. I think
150
Douglas-
to 200 square feet.
I was like,
Shawnee
I think
County's
Douglas
150
County has
square feet.
150 or 200 square foot.
So is it both and, meaning less than 150 square feet and affixed to the ground? Or is it,
I think they're two separate things.
I think it's two separate things. I think you're gonna have to be real careful there, because some of these, I would almost bet you that some of these tree houses and clay sets that you can go buy are bigger than that, and they're permanently fixed to the ground. So, there's gonna have to be some exceptions to the rules in there, right?
Or we just increase the numbers.
Or we just
There is-
increase the numbers, however you wanna do it. But that's what I'm saying, we gotta be careful on that, because we don't wanna get caught with the, people saying, oh my God, they're doing dog houses. No, we're not doing dog houses, we're not doing playhouses, it's not the whole point of this. So, I just wanna be careful that we think everything through. But here again, like I said, the whole point behind this, I thought, was getting rid of the occupancy rules and looking at the portable structures for ag buildings. I thought that's what started this whole rigmarole. So I just wanted to make sure if we're gonna change it, let's just do it once, rather than come back, 2 weeks later and have
I
to
think
make
it's a fair issue. I mean, my perspective was this was about the ag use issue itself. I mean, we had to bring ourselves in compliance with the fact that we weren't controlling animal uses in this. But I know that was an issue. I didn't know that you had any particular change in mind. The genesis being that you were finding buildings and the overheads, and that doesn't really tell you often whether they have a foundation or not. Are you guys, if it's less than 150, do you just ignore it as far as that is concerned?
I think I'd be comfortable somewhere in that 200.
And here's another point that I'm just gonna throw out there. So if anything under 200, is it appraised and taxed? Okay,
Yes,
that's, and I just wanted, because I know that's gonna come up too.
yes.
Well, I don't have to have building, zoning compliance form for it, I don't have to, it shouldn't be taxed, so I just wanna make sure that that's how it
Does
goes.
that follow though? I mean, can you value something that isn't
Sure.
questioned about zone? I mean,
Okay, so what does zoning have to do with the appraisal?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's all, I know that this question's gonna get asked, so I'm just trying to get it out there.
Well, I think that the answer
It
to
is
that
going to be,
is that you could, if you had chicken houses like you're talking about, and you're allowed to have 50 of them, all of them are below the square footage, then I think that would be valued, because you've got a lot of, basically a use there, but none of the individual buildings has to have its own compliance with it. So the same way too, is if just one of those things does increase the value marginally, I don't know what your book said about
So they are, two separate issues. If it's portable, the appraisal on that would be less, right, because of the movement of it and the structure is portable. So, I mean, if you're just focusing on the zoning, then
Yeah,
I'd say
that's,
give it square footage for zoning compliance application purposes.
so the final answer is that those are two separate considerations for the county.
Okay.
County's valuing everything, but it needs to be appropriate value, and that zoning is a separate, and this is zoning.
So like I said, I know that question's gonna get asked, so I just wanna make sure it's broad.
Okay,
So- Okay,
as far as like the appraisal side, you have two people, one person bringing in a 10 by 20 garage or structure, and then putting it on a foundation, getting a zoning compliance, and that structure being put on the tax roll for the appraisal that it's a structure put on a foundation, appraised one way. And you have another person bringing in a 10 by 20 and just putting it on a gravel base, that's gonna be appraised at a lower quality. I mean, just to kind of give you that
Yeah.
appraisal side of it,
no, I can see
if
that.
that helps.
Okay, so are we comfortable then with setting a limit of like, or a max at 200 square feet? I mean, that's what you had suggested,
I know,
so,
I
yeah, I
know.
mean, so, I'm just trying to get the conversation started, so we can talk about this. What do you think,
Okay.
Linda?
Like a little garden shed, those are typically 10 by 12, 12 by 12,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're,
Like 10 by 20 is a pretty good size
yeah.
structure.
I mean, it can come in different forms, right?
Right, but
Sizes,
simple
shapes, yeah.
So, I mean, if we're talking about this, then probably be in 14, section 14 on the first page. New subdivision called half.
Okay.
And it would be an or, meaning don't need, the exemption is that it's buildings that are less, or 200 square feet or less. And the second one would be a building, no matter what the size, that is not affixed to permanent foundation on the ground.
Say that again.
So, yeah, well, let's get into detail. So I'm thinking, do we need a foundation, or do we just, I'm talking about pole barn, it's affixed to the ground, it doesn't have a foundation. 'Cause it's pole.
So if it's 200 square feet or less, and you can slide it in, drive it in, push it in, carry it on your back,
Okay, so it's 8.
it, in my opinion, it wouldn't need a compliance.
Right, that's, yeah,
But if it's over that and it's portable, what people consider portable, not affixed to the ground, then it would, so that it could be,
I would do that to make sure that somebody's not putting an 800 square foot portable building within the flood.
and that's, yeah, and that's why I said, because we have to protect people downstream
Yeah, and then,
and our own equipment, our bridges and fences and stuff like that.
how about a 200 square foot, 100 square foot building that is affixed? You can use
Anything under 200 square foot, whether it's concreted in, fixed with cables, fixed with wood poles, however it's
Okay,
fixed to the
so
ground.
it's just 200 square feet, the affixing doesn't matter.
Correct.
that would be my opinion.
Mine also.
Yeah.
But if it's over, and I think there are gonna be cases where if we go out, there has to be some flexibility with this. If we send somebody out to do 1/6, 1/7 of all property a year, 1/6, and we go out and it measures out at 205 square feet. Okay.
We could have a little common sense.
Yeah. If it's 295 square feet, now maybe we just have a conversation and start the process. There's gotta be some, it can't all be black and white as far as, and I know how that.
There's a lot of grace, you know.
Right, there's gotta be some grace in this. And so, I would just ask that be done. But if we can get those two things put into this, I think it's worth doing. I know there are people out there that think it should be higher than this. I get that. But if we're looking at what is standard across the state of Kansas, it's somewhere between 100 and 200 square feet.
And like I say, I wanna make sure, like Mr. Kelly was saying, that we do have some common sense when we go out and measure that, 5 feet or whatever, and I'm not saying that's a set number, but the appraiser's office does have to have some leeway in that. It's not gonna be that big a deal, because like I say, there's a lot of gray area, and I think that's one of the gray areas, so.
Well, that would be the thing, the separating of the offices.
Right.
Okay, so if we're out doing the data collection for whatever part of the county we're in, and we're finding this, they're just going to measure and take pictures and bring it back. And
Right.
if it's something that is like, wow, something major is going on here, then that will be directed towards the zoning office.
Towards us, yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
Give them that information,
yeah,
they can take it from there.
that's, and then it's, then,
Yeah,
correct.
I agree.
alright.
Clear changes to the body of this.
As far as the red lines, I think that's fine, I don't see any other thing that needs to be changed.
I wanted to point something out here, because, so the issuance of the zoning compliance
What page?
application, page 3, number 2.
Okay.
The shall be issued or refused by the zoning administrator within 10 days from the receipt of the application. Sometimes that's not doable.
Okay, what's the
And I know that time is of the essence with some of these, but making it a shall, sometimes we're waiting on Northeast Kansas environmental, sometimes we're waiting on the site plan. Sometimes we're waiting on things that
Should
they
Be a
haven't,
good word to put in there.
yeah, something, I mean,
They,
little leeway, because sometimes we don't get all the stuff.
Yeah, should would be good.
should?
Shall, should, may.
should it, okay, so then should it say after the receipt of the application and all applicable reports?
A complete application.
How about that? I
Yeah,
mean, that's,
And then if somebody says, well, what's a complete application, then you can explain it to them, what you're
trying to get an
what you're waiting on as
information.
a zoning officer. Hey, we gotta wait for these other agencies to do their thing.
And
receipt of
approval by,
and it could be the zoning administrator or someone that zoning administrator designates. I don't know if that
Zoning
is.
administrator or their deputy, whatever that is. I don't
or
know if that's-
designate.
Or-
Yeah. Okay. All right, clear as mud, guys.
All right.
Good discussion.
Okay.
We're done for.
Yeah.
Done.
Go.
We still got some stuff to visit. So I do want to go back and revisit the denial of revitalization for the gentleman last week. After our meeting, I had a conversation, he called me. I don't know the guy, I've never met him. But he indicated to me two things. One, that he had sent in the documentation, the spreadsheet. That was emailed to the appraiser's office. And I think it took a little while to find it because it was redirected from the same email that he was sent. And only after him calling, it was found in the administrative email. That's,
After we sent out the letter.
okay, right.
Yeah.
You had sent the letter out to him, and he
Yeah.
went, wait a minute, I've already sent this back. So that's one thing. The other is the signature sheet. He indicates to me, and I believe he indicated to you, that he mailed it.
I think he told me that.
Okay, when he called me, he said, look, we mailed that to the office. So, in my opinion, if someone is telling me that they mailed it, and we understand how the mail service works, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and believe that they mailed it. Why would you go to all the work to fill out that data sheet and not send in a simple signature sheet? So my suggestion is that we reestablish this with this gentleman and his wife, and they be allowed to participate in this. Because I have to believe when anybody, I want them to have the benefit of the doubt that they're telling the truth until they prove otherwise. In these other cases that we've talked about, they didn't send any information in, none whatsoever. Or they didn't pay their property taxes. Correct me if I'm wrong, those are the situations of the other ones that we've denied. So it's my suggestion that we reinstate the revitalization for this gentleman down there.
And I here again, as I said last week, I sympathize with you. I truly do. I understand the mail system. But if it's this vital and this important, I would have driven from Voight, Mayetta, or wherever, up here and handed it in along with the spreadsheet. I cannot in good conscience say, yeah, put him back on, because then forever how long we've had revitalization on, we're going to have to go back and revisit every single case and look at that. I can't in good conscience do that. And I feel for the gentleman. But now here's the case too. If he says he mailed it in, have you received anything yet? So if we receive it, pardon me?
I haven't checked the mail yet today.
Okay. If we receive it and it's postmarked as December 26th, whatever, we'll find a dandy.
2 points.
Uh-huh.
Point one is, it's not practical for everybody to get in their car during the day and drive up here and hand something over. So, my other suggestion is also that we instill or put into place DocuSign. It's not rocket science to figure some of this stuff out, where an individual can do DocuSign and not have to mail it or not have to drive up here to do this business. Not everybody has that kind of flexibility in their work schedule that they can get up here to the courthouse. Again, I have to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'll go back to the gentleman out west who didn't fill out the building permit and all that kind of stuff. We talked about some things, and I said, and I think you brought up some issues moving forward, and I said with him even, I would have to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's telling the truth as we move forward. I think when we start to tell people, I don't believe you right out of the gate, I think that's just not good customer service. But that is what you're saying when you say we can't allow him to have that.
No, that
If he had not sent anything in, Mark, I would agree with you. And those are the cases, you say we gotta go back and revisit all these cases. The ones that we have denied, they either did not send in any information, or they didn't pay their property tax.
Okay.
End of story.
I did not say, I'm going to state this, and I want you to hear me. I did
Okay.
not say I did not believe the gentleman.
Okay.
That is not what I said.
Okay.
Okay? If you will go back and
One
look.
point taken, I'll take that
Okay.
back.
All right. If you go and look at what's going on right now, you send your taxes in, and they're not received by such and such a date. I'm talking federal taxes, state taxes, whatever. Guess what? It doesn't matter if it's mail service or not. They say they are not responsible for it. Okay, that's the federal and state government. They're not responsible for it. It's your responsibility to get things in on a timely fashion. I cannot take responsibility for the mail service. And I did not say that he's not trustworthy, he's not reliable, he's not whatever. All I said was that I cannot, in good conscience, reinstate him and his family if we don't go back and do the same thing and review every other single one of them and said, well, I put it in the mail.
What would we review? Tell me what cases we're gonna review.
How long has revitalization been going on and how many cases have been denied?
3 years,
Revitalization's been going on a little longer than that, hasn't it?
not countywide, not since we redid it.
Well, 2015.
That-
on.
Right, but we redid this and made it countywide and did some, since it was updated, maybe 3 years?
Well, be updated, yeah.
Okay, and to your point of what the federal government, what the state does, we are the
We're
legislative
the
body,
governing body of
and therefore
Yes,
we
we
have
are.
the ability to take case by case. We cannot just across the board. So I'm going to move that we reinstate the revitalization program. And if you want the guy's name, I can give it to you. I don't want to say his name. I don't think it's fair to him. But we would reinstate that beginning today. So you have a motion on the floor.
Have you had any other cases that were this way, just the signature that you haven't had? You had
And
everything else
the
with
other-
the signature.
Okay, hang on, there's a motion on the floor, there's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
There's a second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to reinstate revitalization, for the gentleman who was denied, gentleman and family that were denied last week. Any further discussion? Now go ahead.
So none of the other cases have been where you just not have a
Received one
signature?
part of the completed requirements, completion requirements. So they just didn't turn in that sheet with the signature and the total expenditure. That's what they didn't turn in.
other cases, not this one.
This one just turned in part of it, not the complete.
Just not the signature?
Not just part of it, but a very small piece of it, a signature sheet. The most important piece was, in my opinion, was the sheet listing all the materials and what he's done and all those kind of things. And the other piece of this is that I had an opportunity to reach out to him and say, hey, we're missing it, email, whatever. So,
Okay,
And so was the other turn, was it turned in a timely manner?
It was turned in on the 12th, so January 12th, and they had until January 15th. So that document was turned in on the 12th without part B,
signature sheet.
the signature sheet.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question for what you just stated, that the appraiser's office didn't reach out to them when they knew that they didn't have a sheet for them.
Correct.
I have a former treasurer sitting here, I have a current treasurer sitting out there. If somebody doesn't pay their taxes, do you reach out to them, they haven't paid them by the day before the deadline, do you reach out to each individual taxpayer and say, hey, you didn't pay your taxes, you might want to come up here and do this tomorrow?
Not the day before the deadline, but, you know, afterwards we'd send out reminders.
Afterwards,
Yes, that's, you know.
okay? That's the way it is? So for each individual office to try to, I understand that the revitalization has X amount of people in it, so it might be a little easier, but where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line at, is what I'm saying. That's my point, and there again, I cannot in good conscience, let me ask a question real quickly. The instruction sheet, when he filled out the revitalization, did he sign it? That he acknowledged all of the instructions and when the deadlines were and everything else?
Yes.
Okay. So, there again, I cannot in good conscience say that I would approve this, so the motion's on the floor, it's been seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of reinstating for revitalization, say aye.
I just feel like we need to
Okay, it's
try to have,
it's been called for the vote.
okay. Yes, I vote for it.
Okay, all opposed, same sign, aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Would the chair entertain an explanation?
Do what?
Would the chair entertain an
I
explanation?
entertain an explanation, I thought that we had, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just feel like the more we can try to have customer service, you know, I would call him back, I would call him in time we've done this, but I think maybe we should say, you know, we need the signature in so many days. We're giving you time to get the signature up here.
So, along the customer service part. So, we're gonna do things differently. in our office, and I recommend maybe the clerk's office and the treasurer's office come up with a procedure that when these things happen, that we have a set procedure and we know by date and initials of who has helped this person with what, since this is such a significant issue that keeps coming up every year this time, okay? That we will have maybe possibly a checklist for the people that when we explain it, that they understand that these are the dates, and this checklist will be maybe signed, initialed by us, the person that helps them, and a copy of that goes in their file. We can create a file for them to take home with them, so they have all of their ducks in a row. And then they get a copy, we get the copy of that checklist that they understand. Now that first application has their signature saying that they understand that they've read the resolution. I guess to make it very clear. And then we'll have a file sheet on hand that we can have somebody go over all of these things to make sure that, and two, that in these cases, I think there needs to be an appeal process like what is happening here, because we're human beings and people in the offices, if we're missing a document that they're supposed to return, I mean, we're human, and sometimes, especially when it's close to the cutoff date, that we're not emailing them or calling them, telling them that they need to get these things turned in. But,
I mean,
And
you know, when I went to write the checks, if I didn't have the signed sheet, I came to your office, got a copy, sent it to them and said, I need this signed before I will mail you the check. I had always done that.
if we're, I think two things need to be changed within the office and then moving forward when we have a zoning administrator. First thing is DocuSign. It's the easiest thing in the world to set up. Get it set up so that an individual doesn't have to drive up here. They don't have to waste 65, 70 cents on the mail. We don't have to worry about the mail. Got an email? DocuSign. Boom, it's done. The second thing is establish an email address that deals with revitalization only. Instead of sending from administrative, so you guys understand, the administrative email that was sent out to this gentleman, he responded. Wouldn't you typically respond back?
we responded back to him on that.
But there was only 2 people that are allowed into that.
Mhm.
This should be allowed, anybody in the office, somebody should be designated to check that, especially this time of the year, every day, twice a day, or 3 times a day. And so, reestablish an email so that those things aren't done. The only reason you responded back to him, though, was because he responded to the letter that you're out, we didn't get an email. And only when somebody, in his words, he had sent it 2 weeks prior to that,
We received it on January 12th.
the email.
The email with the spreadsheet.
I understand that, but 2 weeks after that, he had gotten a letter saying he was out. That's when he received it, and he said, he called up there and said, I sent you this to this email address. I have the email right here.
There again, we're human beings, and we get those
understand.
spreadsheets for a various number of reasons,
Right.
okay? So having one of us go and check that file to make sure, oh, they didn't turn that in, and now we're calling them to make sure that they've turned in all their documents.
You don't even have to call him, you just
Which,
email.
that's fine, and we can do that. But what I'm saying is we made that mistake. Therefore, that's why I'm saying if so much responsibility is put on each office to maintain these records for people, there needs to be an appeal process. That's all I'm saying.
I'm fine with working on an appeals process, but those are 2 things that can, I believe, speed the process up and make it easier for the community to be able to be in this program.
We're gonna make sure that it's locked down. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that it's spot on.
Are you gonna make a different email address? Can we do that?
We'll have to to check to see if we have
Like
enough accounts.
revitalization, JACOKS.com,
We'll have to check with,
IP password.
I mean, 'cause that's another expense if we have to have,
Picking up your license.
yeah.
that's about $400 for a license.
I think if it makes it easier for anyone in the office to be able to go, hey, today it's my day to check this email, make sure, or has anybody checked it, hey, let me, because right now not everybody in your office has
And
access to administrators, correct?
right.
Okay.
I also want to make a point here that we go through these things with them in pretty good detail when they come in.
I get that.
When they come in for an application. And we encourage them, please read the resolution because there are dates that you need to remember. Okay?
Even there's other processes, you know, within email that are very, very simple things you can, I believe, you can set up automatic reminders on a calendar, and through that email, it would just automatically, you can set it up, and nobody has to do it. It's a generic thing. Hey, don't forget, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. Boom, it sends it out. And you're periodically getting those emails as reminders to help people. Again, we're human. We make mistakes and been through the process before. And I know that your office maybe did make mistakes
I know,
too.
but here's the thing too,
What's that?
it's, some accountability is on that owner that applies for that,
It is.
okay?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know of a whole lot of grants if there's a lot of hand-holding, right?
This isn't.
I know,
I-
because we're local and we wanna make sure that people are taken care of, and I get that, and we do the best that we can, and is there room for improvement? There's always room for improvement, and we're gonna make sure that we improve this process, for sure.
With technology, I just think there's the ability to get better at this through automatic emails that say, hey, haven't got this yet, haven't got that, whatever that is, it's a one-time thing, you set it up and go, and DocuSign, and the email address. I think DocuSign would be one of the best things because then people don't have to worry about the mail.
Well, the DocuSign, okay, they'll get that one form turned in, but not the other multiple
I
forms
understand that.
I mean, in that email, it could have been simple too, scan it all and email it all. I mean, I don't really know why they were separate. Why were they separated? Why was it mailed and not scanned and sent with that?
Can't answer that.
I know. I'm saying, we're gonna do better. For sure.
Make a PDF from
And I want you to know, I have no idea who the person is or who he was talking about. It had nothing to do with my decision.
It should be, and I appreciate that, but
I just mean,
I
I
never met the guy either.
have no idea who it is.
Same here.
I think
I don't
Doesn't
know who it
matter.
is.
Doesn't
Don't
matter.
care.
I mean, we have enough of these happening, every year there's one, right? Not to this degree.
The difference has been no information versus all the information but one sheet, and the individual calling and saying, I did send it. And again, it goes back to, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
It'll be better.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I would like to have an executive session, matters of non-elected personnel, Kate, you're included. Non-elected personnel in this room to go for, start at 11:02, it's 11:01 now, for performance.
How long? Employee performance, how long?
I'll second.
Yes, probably move second, go into executive session with the above named people for the amount of time for employee performance, non-elected personnel. Any further discussion?
Well, how much time is it?
I'm sorry, let's go 15 minutes.
And
15,
who's invited?
Kate,
Kate
Christie,
and Kristen.
Yep.
That's it.
and our attorney,
And me.
of course.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Impossible. Yep.
Can I bounce a personal struggle off of you? And if you've got some ideas about it, that'd be great. If you don't,
I mean, like, is it, can we
No.
take a minute? Okay. We'll just have to talk about it afterwards, unless they have like another executive session or something with these guys.
okay, when we go in, what can I come with?
You
Because all I have is
can
that.
hear that if you want to.
Okay. You got that. I know, but I'm
Yeah,
so
I always
sick.
have. I know, and heavy. I know, I just make it worse on myself. Okay, strong bones.
Oh. When Jacob was looking at me when I did the method house,
Mhm.
so I remember trying to find every time to find out if it was real. 2 to 4, whatever, however we measure, whatever we parse is okay.
Did you said it was 10?
10.4. 10.4.
Thank you. All right, Todd, you got anything else?
I was just gonna note, it looked like I was online a little bit. House passed House Bill 2745, which is a change to property taxation.
That,
No, somebody before.
488.
Huh?
488 was a one.
Yeah, there's a different one. I think this is one that requires an election whenever you receive, not the they're gonna remove the revenue neutral rate and replace it with a
House Bill 427.
It's 2745.
That can never work either.
For every other year elections.
Yeah, well, it's over, if you didn't increase more than 3%, they have some exceptions that would not require an election, but if you go above that, then you do an
I don't know
election.
how they ever think that's gonna work, because you'd have to work on budget for a year and a half out,
Then you're gonna pay the cost of an election,
right?
which is gonna cost the taxpayers.
And then, so, yeah, that seemed a little bit more, seemed a little more workable than the other one, just complete destruction of the entire property tax code.
But like they said, you don't know what insurance rates will be, you don't know what fuel costs will be.
That's what we ran into last year, a lot of people were calling and said your taxes went up, well, in escrow, they said yes, we were trying to get house insurance.
Right.
It's just house insurance.
Right, exactly.
Well, that was just the latest news, nothing else on my list, unless you guys got any questions.
Well, when will we hear anything about the case that was dismissed?
Oh, yeah, I guess you did. I did see that from Dave, that Mr. Willet's case was dismissed because of legislative immunity. There would be a time for appeal, 30 days from the ruling, which I think was.
Explain what, if you would, legislative immunity.
Well, a decision that's done by this body in a format that's it's legislative prerogative. So, if you guys, the easiest one is you pass this resolution to change something or close a road. That is clearly a legislative prerogative because you're deciding something as an elected official. It's not. It doesn't involve anything other than that power.
We had the full authority as to do what we did.
Yeah, and it's a complicated doctrine after you kind of get past that, but there's a couple of different ways that you approach that, and basically it was, I think if I remember right, it was approached as what we call an anti-SLAPP suit, which is a defense that is asserted to actions that are not supported in law because of immunities and were just under the rights. So they didn't say that on this instance, it just said that there's clear legislative immunity. So, an example of things that are not legislative immunity, if you guys buy, rock and it's, there's some kind of legal fight over that. You're doing proprietary capacity there, you're not doing legislative. So if the fact about what you owe somebody, that's not legislative. Like I said, 30 days to appeal. Since it's gone around through once before, I'm not sure about whether that's going to happen or not. That's,
Yeah.
You're definitely not going to have trials or discovery or anything like that anytime soon.
Perfect.
Okay.
You get on the agenda? Make a motion to put Lisa on the agenda, treasurer.
Second.
Okay, it's probably moving second if we have Lisa on the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Well, I have a couple of questions, but the first thing is I'm just gonna run it by you, our postage machines, the lease is out, so we're gonna review the lease, and it's a little bit less than what it was before.
Oh,
Doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, and we're paying $832.71 a month for a 48-month option. It'll go down to $799.92.
Okay.
Just wanted to run that by you to make sure that was. He's supposed to call me back in about an hour or so. The thing is, I got a check from Farm Bureau for the fire property. I just want to make sure.
Say that again.
I got a check from the insurance company for the
For the tanking part.
taking fire.
Oh,
We get that, and they have, do I issue that to them now, or do we have to wait until they get it?
Be sure that it's all cleaned up.
Clean up and everything.
oh, the issue from the, okay,
Yes.
I follow.
Yeah, they're working on that right now.
There for cleanup if they don't clean it up. So we hold it until.
All of it or 15% of it?
15%.
Yeah, I don't think they say you want 50% of it.
Right, so
They
they only
said-
sent a percentage of it.
Okay.
They
Thank you.
had it insured for like 186, and they sent 26,000, 27,000.
Perfect.
So,
Like I say, they're in the process of cleaning right now, so.
yeah, they're working on it, so I'll just hold on to that then. Okay, one other thing is I got a request on yesterday, an email, where we need to go back on excess funds or tax sale. They want on the list. I need to know, I don't know who it was. They wanted a list of excess funds on the tax sale, previous tax sale.
Well, not the one we just did.
It just said previous tax sales. I had the letter with me when I was gonna begin with. you know.
Well, I mean, it's just an open records request. I would say, you know, the one I just did, that's, I guess I wonder how they phrased it. They just want to know, like, how much was in excess theoretically, or how much you're retaining now?
Maybe
or-
they just emailed you a copy of the letter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the order that I did would show what would be excess.
Right, just like an attorney or somebody, I mean, is it somebody that, then they just wanna go represent those people so they get
It
that,
wasn't an attorney, I mean, it wasn't
but it's not,
on letterhead or anything.
it's not like it's a company or something.
Something.
Chuck Smith wants to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how, the last one was 2021, wasn't it? 2022,
Yeah.
we kind of closed with, so. Yeah,
Do you have, would there be a record of that already in file,
Oh, but
or?
see, the excess money was held upstairs in the clerk of the court, so,
and eventually it should have been turned over to unclaimed properties.
so it depends on, I mean, I know a couple of them went after the money,
Yeah.
the excess money, so it,
Well, what I'm saying is, so if there was not a list, you do not have to create a list if there's nothing here already, right?
I mean, I think it should be in the pleadings in court.
yeah,
That's the way I did it.
Well, then would that request then go to the court rather than the treasurer's office since funds are held there?
Well, I think it just to probably help the clerk of the court.
I think
You've
it's
got-
if they ask for it again.
I would do that. You know, I don't have a problem with it either. I'm gonna say,
I mean,
we don't retain records of that because the clerk of the court has the money and the.
right,
Yeah, well, that's why I wanna make sure that we're not getting in the middle of it, that,
Right.
you know,
right.
you don't have a list of it in your office, so I would say that you need to either tell them we do not have that list, or tell them and check the clerk of the court, whatever.
Yeah.
That would be my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't create any document that you don't need to.
All right, that's fine.
Alright.
I think that's it,
That's
that's all I have. Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Would like to have, well, whatever, we come back.
okay.
I did attend Conservation District, Wednesday night,
Yeah,
very,
we'll make it.
very good. Good program.
Yeah.
And I know that this has been brought up, but we have the fire district, or fire awards dinner tomorrow night, 6:30, so,
Unfortunately, I don't think there's a lot of people who show up.
Have a pizza.
yeah, that works.
So I think we'll need to revisit how we're gonna approach that.
Yeah.
I know Cole said that their fire meeting, Scott Baum said, you know, there were too many of them, he wasn't gonna choose one person to give an award to, so, you know.
Mary?
I'm Mary.
Hello.
We're still waiting for Scott, or Todd to do that.
My Alka-Seltzer's very off.
So, I've asked that Mary come down and talk about some things from HR perspective. There has been, I guess, for a long-standing period of time, employees who come in at our road and bridge department, and if they, I don't know what the reasoning would be, but they're coming in and saying, well, I was here doing stuff at 10 till, so I should leave it 10 minutes early. I asked Mary, if they drive out the lot and get in an accident and they're still on the clock, are we liable? If there's time cards are saying 7 a.m. to 3:30, should they be required to be here till 3:30? And so those are just some questions I want answers to, because if I'm seeing this, the public, if the public sees it, there's going to be some questions.
So is there a way, we kind of talked about this morning, is there a way that they can sign in maybe on an iPad and maybe have the 3 supervisors take areas of the morning to know they're there, have them sign in, and then maybe have them report back early, like at 3 o'clock to do their paperwork, and then they can sign out that area at 3:30?
I don't know the answer to that, because right now they just go 10-7 or 10-8 over the radio. And so therefore then, out of Road and Bridge, they fill out a time card that says they were here from 7 to 3:30. And so who's verifying what they're doing at 10 till or those types of things? I know you told me that you have flex time.
I do.
But flex time would be different because you have people who are clocking in, clocking out. So, thoughts?
Well, and I think that, I don't necessarily know I call it flex time, but I know there are circumstances where somebody has a doctor's appointment, whatever, they want to take a half day's vacation. If they clear it with their direct supervisor, their department head, that, hey, can I come in a half an hour early, they just need to leave a half hour late, or leave a half hour early. It's, to me, that is not that's not a perk, it's a privilege.
But I think the problem is they're not clocking out. Like if they come in at 7:45, I don't know if they're out.
Well,
10 to
Right.
3:30.
I make it on the half hour, so it's not a 15-minute
Okay,
type
so let's
deal.
say if they come in at 6:45, and they're gonna leave those 15 minutes early, but they're not clocking out, saying they're clocking out till 3:30.
That would be the manager's,
So we're gonna be
manager's
liable
responsibility.
for overtime, comp time,
No,
or if they're in a rep between that time and they're not clocked out,
if there is a written request that they came in, they want to come in at 6:30.
but they need to be clocked out in that same time frame.
Yes,
Correct.
yeah, no, so they put in their 8 hours.
I
That's,
think what Keith is saying is they're not physically clocked out until 3:30.
and I don't agree with that, yes.
Okay.
But as
You
far
don't
as,
disagree or you don't agree?
I don't disagree with you. No, I don't disagree with you on that. No. I don't disagree with you on that. That is not right. That is something that needs to be, if it's been going on for a long time, it should have been nipped in the bud a long time ago, and we're going to have to take care of that.
So, who's going to supervise them at 6:30?
Well, I mean, a lot of employees clock in and out, and I understand we have some people out there that don't have smartphones and won't be able to order. And I have people that say, I'm not putting on my phone, I'm not doing it. But I think you can get quite a few of them that would just clock in and out. I think it'd be a rough few weeks that the office staff will have to be fixing clock in and clock out until people get the rhythm of it.
Of using their phone.
Yeah, I use my phone.
And
We have
how do
several
you do that?
employees. It's right here, it's an app, I go
Okay.
into it.
Then we're gonna go back to, I want paid, not to my personal
Well,
phone.
guess what? I'll give them $1 a month.
Most of the staff
That's
don't.
just bull.
That's bull.
But that's gonna be what you're gonna.
But I
pay.
think we'll get half the staff that will do it without any problem. Now, do we accommodate? And I think there's a couple that don't have smartphones, so we're gonna have to, but,
But we have iPads.
and a couple people can fill out a time card and submit it for the ladies in the office with their time, because I would like to see them popping in and out for lunches. Right now, we're automatically deducting a 30-minute lunch, and I'm uncomfortable with that.
Because, and give the reason why.
Because I think some
valid.
are continuing to work in their grader and working, and if there's an issue, they go to Department of Labor and say they're taking time away from me while I'm working.
Yeah, that's the underlying thing here is that no matter what policy, the first thing is we have to be reporting work time at whether, and that, if that means that they are absolutely positively coming in 50 minutes early and absolutely positively leaving 50 minutes early, and the clock says that, then, you know, that's one thing. If it's a policy where you don't clock in until 7, no matter what, you don't work. I mean, that's discipline, right? You say, you keep coming in 15 minutes early and clocking in, I told you to stop. Stop doing it. You work from 7 until 3:30. That's it. So that way the whole world narrows down to the fact that we're not having overtime and we're clocking in correct. And that if they do that, then we're paying them overtime. Because the worst possible situation is they're working overtime and not getting paid.
And I don't, and the accountability piece, I mean, again, if somebody's coming to work at 7, yes, the grader operators aren't supervised. They know what they're supposed to be doing and they go out. But still, if they go out at 6:30 because they want to go to a football game and whatever, and something happens, and their supervisor doesn't come to work till 5 minutes still and then clocks in at 7, and he has an issue, I mean, because I think you'll have people who stretch, wow, I want to leave half day early, so I'm going to come in at 4 o'clock in the morning. I want to get my work done early. Everybody, a lot of employees come in early. A lot of county employees come in early. They get the computer fired up, they go get a cup of coffee, they get their day lined out. They're doing things to make them productive when it's time to go to work, right? I mean, and we're not saying, oh, well, because you touched your work computer or you did that, or you grabbed some paperwork, you can go home 10 minutes early. To me, it comes back to an accountability and liability if we have people doing that. And it's been a practice, I guess, for years. And I just wanted to have a conversation about it because
I would love to find a way for them to clock in and out, if that's doable. Because I put it back to them, and they're not just saying, I work from X to Y and I took Z out.
but they're not going to clock in, and even if they have the ability to clock in, and I agree, I think it would be a good idea for them to be able to clock in. But you're not going to clock in at a quarter till and say, well, I clocked in, so therefore.
See, that's gotta be managed. I mean,
I
we were
agree.
told,
Right.
when Kathy was here, you know, we could come early, but you did not clock in until your time clock in.
That's right.
And we didn't. We might get here at 7:30 and get our stuff
But you
around.
weren't
That's
clock
exactly
in
what I was
until it
talking
was
about.
time to go to work.
But you stayed until your allotted time too.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was the point I was trying
But you know, that one payroll system, they had to clock in on their phone.
I don't think I don't think they
They
did.
set them up, no, I think.
I think that from what I was
Well,
told that they threw
Oh,
that.
They did?
No, yes, they did.
They had the iPads
Yes.
up there. Because Kathy sent
And
iPads
some
up.
of them did it on their phone, because I remember.
Yeah, that's what I said, and some will, some fight it, and some
So
can't.
just a quickie here. Guess what I did? I Googled. Okay. And Mr. AI says in Kansas, employers can legally require employees to use personal phones to clock in and out for work. Kansas law does not explicitly prohibit this, and at-will employment allows employers to set technological conditions.
about. You didn't know that?
Oh,
I'm just saying. So there's your
AI again.
there's your AI again right there.
It
Mr. AI
doesn't
again.
explicitly forbid.
The only issue you're gonna run into there is the ones that have Androids, right?
Androids are fine, some of them, I
Or
think
they're
it's
really
flip
nice.
phones. I think they have a smartphone,
Hey,
one or two, but we can
So-
accommodate.
So
Like flip phones.
even if all they're using is a flip phone, can't they send a text, Kenny? To the office?
They should be able to.
Well, I think they're already submitting some type of time thing in the office every week anyway. So now we want your exact clock in, clock out, your time in and out for lunch. Submit it, whether it be every 2 to 3 days, once a week, email it to the ladies at the office, get in.
I mean, what's the operative difference between calling in on the radio versus that? I mean, you're still trusting that they're not sitting in a recliner going talking. Or
There's a geofence, we didn't put it in place because we have to designate each location where they're supposed to be recorded.
That's how that payroll program was too.
yeah, okay.
Well, I've seen other programs that you don't even have to designate a place, I don't know if this one has capability.
Well, and I will
See where
say
they clock in.
for the school district that you have to be on their wireless to be able to clock in, clock out. You can't clock out, clock in from home, clock out from home.
So
So there are ways that you can do.
So we would just ask supervisor, say, starting this date, you have this app loaded onto you.
We need to update that, that's on there about that.
I feel like this is a management and a department issue. I don't know about writing a policy that applies to the whole county, because we have some offices run by elected officials and how they determine to run their office.
I would agree.
I'm not, I'm not comfortable doing that and telling everyone in the county, you all cooperate, because like for me, Christie loves flexibility, that's important in my life right now.
Sure. No, I understand.
So, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you work for this department, this is the department's expectations.
I mean, as far as just saying that, so as far as for the handbook, as far as saying that there's a possibility, depending on what department you work in, that you may be required to clock in and out on your phone, something like that.
Well, yeah,
I
I
don't
think,
see a,
yeah, I think anyone that's hourly, I don't have a problem, but you're required to clock in and out.
that's all I'm
Some
saying.
people do
I
not
want
have
everyone
the
to complain
capability
and
to
say we
clock
don't.
in.
It doesn't say that I have to, so I'm not going to.
Do you want it specifically stated on their personal mobile device? In that
Well,
policy?
I think you could say just, couldn't you say, that each department may, shall, or may determine how employees are clocked in and procedures for doing it. That's all it says, and then, and the road and bridge can do the app, and you guys can just do time cards, because everybody has to come into the office, right? Everybody's, no remote work there.
And so our issue is then on remote employees. They're coming out of their house, getting in their grader, and they're going to work, or they're showing up to a site at Hoyt and getting in, or they're showing up to a site down here, the bridge yard.
So they're driving city vehicles home.
Now,
No.
they drive to a site, like
Okay.
there's a site down Hoyt off 75 highway where multiple employees drive there, they get in their dump trucks, they get their graders, and they go to work.
And that would be traditionally when they got in. Okay, because I was freaking out. You said accidents that happen when, well, and
Right.
from the legal perspective, if you're in a county vehicle, no matter what time of day or night, you're
Probably
probably
they're in their personal vehicle.
Well, therein lies a problem that I need to talk to Scott about, because I'm being told that there is a county employee who is refusing to drive his vehicle out to the yard. And is parking down here, getting in the county vehicle and driving out here. And
I
I
think
think
that
that,
might have got.
did that get nipped in the
I
bud?
think so.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, I think he started doing that, and Scott told him,
yeah,
dump trucks out there, you show up
Okay,
out there, and you don't come back.
all right. Because that would create the same liability. I'm getting in the county truck, but I'm not on the clock yet, and I'm going out there.
So how do we enforce clocking in and clocking out at 3:30 and staying there until 3:30 and then going home?
Okay, do they have paperwork that they have to do after, like the graders, do they fill out paperwork on the
They do.
roads they work on?
They do, they fill those cards out and send them in.
Okay, so would it be doable as a suggestion that
Just fill
maybe
those out.
they come in half hour early off the road to do the paperwork at 3:00 and then?
They already do. They're supposed to come in, typically they show up like a half hour before to blow the machine out, maybe grease it, just look it over. They have that half hour grace period already.
So they do come in early and do it.
But they're on the clock.
They're on the clock,
Okay.
but they come in off the road,
And they're not
start
supposed
their
to be.
vehicle, even the dump truck drivers, clean it out, whatever. We give them time to do that. But that doesn't mean that, well, okay, at 3:20, I'm gonna pull out.
I think when they have a staff meeting, stating with the staff meeting, these are the expectations.
And I agree with you, Mary, I think it's a management.
And I also have a question that,
Okay.
I mean, we have Scott, we have Joe, and we have Matt. Matt's there, Scott's here, Joe can be down at Hoyt for a little bit until we make sure things are running.
I would agree.
That'd be my suggestion. Staff meeting, it's announced, this is how it's running.
And
And,
then, I mean,
and take a few weeks to enforce it.
Okay, so with your payroll system you have now, do you have the capability for people to clock in and out on an app? Okay, okay.
Right here on my phone. Leave on break, clock out.
Skyward?
No, this is, I can't think of it now. It's tied with our payroll system,
Okay.
CIC.
So there is one available, it is there, and, okay.
A lot of us, time clock plus, a lot of us are using it here for now,
Do we
so.
have instructions on how to download it on your phone or?
Some of it has on their phone already.
All right. Okay,
Anything else?
I think we'll move forward into that, see what we can do.
can you email Scott the name of the app?
Oh, I have it printed out how to download it on your phone, our codes,
So
their
there.
codes, yeah.
I figured
I
that.
have that, I get a call to new employees with their ID.
All right,
All right, so the directive to Scott needs to be that starting X date, that needs to happen.
what would be the payroll date that you want to try to implement this?
Doesn't matter, does it?
Well, yes, because that way,
I mean, we're gonna need those office ladies ready for this, I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna get, I forgot to clock in, I forgot to clock out, to make sure they're ready to handle the
what I'm saying
corrections.
is you don't want to put it in the middle of the payroll period, you don't want to implement it, because there's gonna be a test period, time period, so. you
Well,
said
they're
you
already
start
entering
here.
it in, it's gonna be up to them now to let them be clocking in and out and managing
So,
Yeah.
that it's going
Clock
to.
in,
Then I can
clock
get
out.
with them.
and then management make sure that they're not leaving until 3:30 of their assigned time.
Can I ask for an executive session for 15 minutes under the non-elected personnel matters to discuss employee concerns?
Can we take a 2-minute break?
So we'll be in recess for 2 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I thought you did that.
So, he saw me. It was lunchtime. We were a group of guys that hang out with sometimes, have lunch. Everyone get there.
Say, I think, Webster.
I probably should call him, did you realize what he's done with
I think he does.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I saw some stuff on the cover the other day. Just, you know, something.
All right, you want to go?
All right, hang on.
Entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'm moving to go into executive session for non-elected personnel for a matter of
Employee concerns.
employee concerns for 15 minutes, starting at 11:50.
Second.
Okay, probably moving second to go into executive session for matters of non-elected personnel, employee concerns for 15 minutes with the clerk, Mary, Todd, commissioners, reopen this room, 15 minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Yeah, but this will be a short day.
Yeah, it's probably 70 degrees outside.
It's supposed to be nice today.
So you ready for minutes?
Not back in. Not back in?
No, sorry.
Now you are.
Alright. How's everybody read the minutes? I will restate it.
Move we approve the February 9th minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded to approve the minutes of February 9, 2026. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
So it was interesting, the floodplain meeting,
Uh-huh.
it was surprisingly, at least for me, that you could ask them, sit down at the computer, and they would look up your property and say, okay, here's what we consider the floodplain, and do you agree with that? Spot on. I've seen it out of the banks, the Muddy Creek, and I go, that's amazing, because that's exactly where it went to 8 years ago, or whatever it was. But that's good. Oh, our computers are doing the right thing, projecting.
Projection,
Yeah.
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 Those, to me, those are, those type of things when they can model it out like that, it's just, to me, amazing.
Yeah, so there's always some decrease and there's always some increase in different areas.
You good here?
Yeah.
Already?
Yep, you were good, buddy. Thank you. I don't even know, it's North Cedar Creek that backs up on my property over here. Well, I got, in 10 years ago, I got a thing that said, hey, you know, we're gonna make some changes to the floodplain, you're in the floodplain and everything, I'm out there looking, like, what's 30 foot of, so how that's gonna back up into that, I don't quite know, but since it's right back up against it, then, yeah, that's where they did that.
You won't see that
It
very
only took 6 months, right?
Very much. Is there any further things to come before us today? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's probably moved second to adjourn this meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Todd, thank you.
That means not, right?
Meeting's tonight. There'll be the bells on, right? All right.
I'm not gonna work for it.
Great discussion today, guys.